Testing stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, there's a big meeting today. The big guy, Tiger Woods, is flying into Delaware. There's a meeting of the top 20 players who are committed to the PGA Tour on what you're going to do about LIV. Wow. And then Wednesday, tomorrow, they'll meet with Jay Monahan, the commissioner. And there's a lot of stuff on the table, according to Alan Shipnuck, who talked about Tiger coming in. I mean, they even talk about potential boycotts of majors. Holy smokes. Can you imagine them saying to the Royal Nation or to Augusta National? And those are the two that have some problems because, first of all, the Open Championship, the RNA, that's an open, right? So any of those guys, even if they don't have the OWGR, the World Golf Ranking points, if they go to qualify and get in, how can you stop them? With Augusta National, when you've won one, you have basically until you're not able to really play, and then you become an honorary starter. You're involved. You come for the Tuesday Champions dinner. You play in the Wednesday, family par 3 thing. Part of the tradition and history. Can you basically tell Augusta National, no, they can't come anymore? And that's tough. U.S. Open's the same way. The only one that really you could easily say, would be the PGA. Otherwise, you've got an issue, I think, with all of them. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what they're going to cook up. But I do like it that they feel good enough about their position and what the PGA means to them that they're having this meeting. I mean, let's face it. Tiger Woods basically said he was, I guess the word disappointed. I'm trying to remember exactly how he said it, but the point was these guys are turning their backs on the guys that got them there. Their legacy is all based on the venue that the PGA Tour was able to provide them. I agree with that. Again, if you were listening to Greg and Eli just a little while ago, Lauren Roberts is on there going, $100 million. That's hard to turn down. It's silly money. So how do you do battle with these guys? I do think this. I mean, if you've got a 48-man field with no cut and you're only playing 54 holes, to me, that is not competitive to be based in the world rankings. So the OWGR, they need to come out and say that. That would go a long way. And then the onus is on Greg Norman to go, okay, we've heard, we've listened. We'll be 72 holes, and we'll have a cut.
And speaking to competitiveness, too, the money that they win, any money they would win is taken out of the guaranteed money they've already gotten. So where's the – what is the why would you compete if I made $100 million already and any money I earn winning this tournament is taken out of that? It's not additional money you get. I have no incentive to compete in the tournament.
I don't know about that. I think if you're a player, you still want to win. And I hate to say it, but what do they get? They get $3 million for winning or $2.5 million for winning.
Chump change compared to the guaranteed money they already have.
But are you turning down $2.5 million? You only have so much of a window to make that money. I mean, I still think the money is important to them, so I still think they'll go out to compete for it. But you're right. I mean, it's and they're guaranteed money just by going, which is a bone of contention I sort of have with the PGA. It's never brought up, and I don't know if that'll come up with this meeting because everything seems to be catered to the top 50, 70 guys, which is how they're restructuring the cards for next year, the first round of the playoffs for next year. It's all for the big top guys. But if it's me, I want to make sure that I give the ability to the younger guy to come in. So I probably do have a Q school again instead of just Corn Ferry and a Corn Ferry opportunity. But I'm also going back to this thing that we've talked about. There's not a professional league of any kind anywhere, including individual sports like tennis. If you're in the field and you lose in the first round, you still get money. First round loser. How can it be that you're asking guys to come play on Thursday and Friday, spend all the money to get there, and get nothing? That would be if you're trying to take care of everybody. This is not about taking care of everybody. This is about taking care of the stars. And we'll see what comes out of the top 20. I'll be interested to see how much they care about the lower guys on the spectrum, too. So that'll be all a part of this. Interestingly, they a guy who I think is a pretty good player based on his practice swings. Yesterday, they allow some players or some guys who've been like volunteers and stuff to play the tournament, play TPC Southwind from where the players played it, so they get a sense of just how difficult it is. And I saw a reenactment of where the Will Zalatoris ball was on 11 for the playoff. And so a guy, and all I can see is a practice swing or two before he attempts to make the shot that Zalatoris opted to take a drop from. And takes the two practice shots, gets set up like he knows what he's doing, plants his feet, takes his backswing, hits the ball, and it hits that little mound of turf and goes back into the water, and everybody laughs. It would have been really interesting to me to see what would Zalatoris have done if indeed Straka's shot had gone on the green. Now you know he's going to get he's a pro, he's in the playoff. You've got to believe he's going to get a 3. You've got to play it like he's going to get down in 2. So now you can't take that drop unless you hole your shot from 87 yards out. What are the odds on that? So I think that guy played it wrong too, whoever reenacted it. Next time I play Southwind and I try that, I'm going to take one of two things. I'm going to take a putter or I'm going to take a hybrid with a putting action and try to get it through the rough, that turf, which is pretty long. But I think because you can't get a club down through the rock, but there is enough of the ball sticking up that if you hit it hard enough with a flat edge, like a putter or a low-degree hybrid, I think you could get a chance, and you hit the upper half of the ball from the equator up, I think there's a chance you could get it forward.
Almost like hitting the lip of a bunker. Like you hit it hard enough, it hits the lip and like goes straight up and comes back down.
Right. But you don't want it to come back down because if it comes back down, it's going in the water.
Yeah.
You got to get it forward through the stuff. So I'll let you know if indeed that works. We got a busy show. Tim Doolin, as always, will join us. There is a game tonight in the American League. It's the White Sox trying to get into the playoff position in the American League Central. They're behind the Guardians, but they are also not that far from a wild card. They're taking on the best team the second best team in the American League, the Houston Astros. And there's a right-hander for the White Sox, Dylan Cease, against Justin Verlander. They are the two best ERA players in the game, in the American League. And just so you know, and I got to give my credit to my producer on the Tiger football broadcast, Danny O'Brien, who's a big baseball fan. Danny O'Brien says that the last time two pitchers faced each other, particularly this late in the season, but faced each other, that had sub 2.00 ERAs, the last time was the Cardinals and the Mets in 1985. That's 37 years ago, the last time two sub-twos faced each other. A little interesting thing. We'll talk with Tim Doolin about that. We'll talk with Russell Copeland, who will make his AFC South predictions today. We'll do our daily dose of Deshaun Watson stuff. That should be a lot of fun. A little note tomorrow, Keith Evans, who used to be a tennis pro. I believe he is an Ole Miss grad, too. He has a USTA Pro event in South Haven. He's going to join us tomorrow at about 10:12 or so. Remind me a little bit later, JMO, talk about Ryan Silverfield and his press conference and depth in certain areas. I'm not sure he alleviated my fears about the defensive line, but he did calm my fears down a little bit more on that in a bit. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Don't forget that summer clearance sale where the pools, deals like you couldn't believe. Just for this month, as it all winds down, because we've got fall coming, $2,000 off swimming pools. And by the way, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, these are really good deals. You can't pass up. If you're going to do it yourself, free ladder upgrades, whole season worth of chemicals. You pick it up, take it, install it yourself, $2,000 off. You can't beat that deal. Oh, and 30% off in-stock sets. State of the art, and of course they got to move everything because sooner or later the new stuff comes in. Really, it's going on. Play gyms, trampolines, everything, all going like crazy at Family Leisure at I-40 and Whidden Road. So this was a weird weekend. In maybe the first time that we've had not just the PGA Tour and the playoffs of the PGA Tour, but we have Elvis Week. Pat Boone was around. Come on, Mr. Clean. And the lady from my dream of Jeannie has been in here. She's 90 years old, still looks great from all accounts. Priscilla's here. She was on the Today Show this morning. So much attention to Memphis. What does that mean in dollars and cents? So we had to find out. So what are we doing? We're going to Mr. Memphis, the head of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the guy who does Memphis tourism commercials with us on this station, the one and only Kevin Kane. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Dave.
So this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've had golf and Elvis at the same time.
Well, as I've been doing this a long time. It's the first time I've seen it. It was a big weekend in different parts of the city, and people here from literally all over the world for Elvis Week and all over the country. And I guess even from outside the United States for golf. But, every restaurant I went to, they talked about, God, there's a lot of people from out of town here, But it was great. It was, as I say, it was many, many millions of dollars of benefit for the tax rolls of Memphis and Shelby County. And, that's what big events do for you, whether it's an Elvis Week or whether it's a PGA golf tournament that we've had now for 65 years. These things pay huge dividends for the community. And as you said just a moment ago about Priscilla being on the Today Show this morning, of course, NBC coverage of the golf this weekend, Memphis could not have looked, more beautiful. They showed the best of Memphis. So that is priceless all in its own right, as you know.
All right, so that's priceless. Give me money numbers. That's what I want to hear from you. Tell me, in trickle-down dollar effect, what do you think with these two things here? We've never had a playoff here either, and I think these were about as big a galleries as I can ever remember seeing. What do you think this weekend meant in dollars and cents for Memphis?
Well, we won't know for sure for a couple of weeks. I think it's safe to say that between golf and Elvis Week, it certainly eclipsed $25-30 million, or maybe even more. We have to do a lot of we have to look at hotel data, which is one big indication of how many additional hotel rooms we sold, not to bore you with our methodology. But, we won't get that data for, 10 days to 2 weeks. So, and we'll crunch those numbers. But, historically, we know that the WGC 3 years ago before COVID, because we were able to measure that was north of $15 million by itself. So, you put that, let's say this year was comparable to that. And then you got Elvis Week on top of that. It was probably north of $20+ million, over a 7 to 10 day period, the 4 days of golf. And of course, the Elvis Week activities is a week long of activity still going on, by the way. Big concert tonight. So, and I was there last night. There were thousands and thousands of people there last night for the Candlelight Vigil. So great week for Memphis.
Would you rather have them separate? Because I think this is going to be the combination now for the next few years. Would you rather them be separate, or do you like this together, where you might get 30 to 35 million in economic effect?
Well, they're different events, and they basically sell hotel rooms in different parts of the community. The FedEx St. Jude event sells a lot of rooms downtown, and it sells a lot of rooms way out east. Elvis Presley Week sells a lot of rooms downtown, a lot of rooms out near Graceland. Obviously, the guest house at Graceland's been sold out for a week. And and that's one of our largest hotels in the community, as you know. So, they kind of coincide pretty comfortably together because of the geographical distance and the nature of both events. So, it doesn't bother me at all if they overlap or go on at the same time for the next few years. I think we've shown this year we can certainly handle it. And I think having them 2 weeks apart, that might be nice in some ways, but having them here all at the same time probably generated some additional excitement for both groups, the golf fans as well as the Elvis Week fans.
We've had discussions on this show with you before about hotels and the need, and that's why, for instance, when they announced the rotation for the SEC basketball tournament, they said there weren't enough hotel rooms in Memphis. We've now got the new Hyatt Centric. It seems to me there's 3 or 4 new hotels downtown, and still more on the plans. You got the new Renaissance Convention Center, which I know is incredibly beautiful and has enhanced your ability to bring in bigger things. Tell me where we stand with hotel rooms. Do we have enough? Do we need more?
Well, we have 4,000 rooms in downtown Memphis, up about 1,300 rooms really just over the last few years. We have over 25,000 rooms in Shelby County, and that doesn't count North Mississippi and Crittenden County. Of course, right across the bridge in downtown, the Southland,
right.
I want to call it Southland Greyhound Park, but Southland Casino, they're putting they're finishing touches on a 350-room hotel right across the bridge. So, when you look at and not to mention Airbnb, where we have literally thousands of Airbnbs in the Shelby County market. So, we can handle a lot. What's missing are those large, big box hotels. We've got the Hilton out east, we got the Peabody and the Sheraton downtown, and we got the guest house out at Graceland. Those are all hotels that are 400 rooms or larger, and that's all we got. Aside from that, it's a lot of smaller properties, which are great. They certainly take care of us, but, a lot of times, big tournaments and big events like to put a lot of people in 1 or 2 or 3 hotels, and, especially in the convention market. So we still need larger full-service hotels. As I say, we got plenty of rooms. We just don't have plenty of large hotels. And,
wow. I think we just lost him. Well, I think the message there is there's plenty of hotel rooms at the moment, probably sufficient enough to attract most of the conventions that Kevin tries to bring. But his point is we are missing 1 or 2 of those bigger hotels with 400 or more rooms. I think Kevin actually was on his way to a dentist or something like that, so we might not get him back. But we thank him. Here, we'll finish up with him really quick. In essence, Kevin, I just said I think you've got enough to get a lot of big conventions, but you could still use a 400 or 500 room hotel or 2 downtown. That would go a long way.
There's no, sorry about that technical deal, but no doubt about that. And but I'll tell you, there's a lot of momentum, as you've heard Mayor Strickland say many, many times, and it's really real when you look at the developments at the Liberty Park Sportsplex, which is going to bring a lot of people and a lot of youth sport events to the community. The Leftwich Tennis Center, which is going to be finished in a few months. The new plans for Audubon Park Golf Course.
Oh, man. Can't wait for that.
The plans, you've seen the renderings of what the vision is for Liberty Bowl or the Simmons Football Stadium, whatever it's called right now. And of course, improvements that are being discussed, to always keep the FedEx Forum very competitive to NBA standards. So our future is very bright. You look at the airport when you fly into the city now, the
gorgeous
concourse is absolutely first class. You go to our convention center, it's as nice as any building that size anywhere in the country. So, there's a lot of great things happening here, and we are excited.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it, and I know we'll talk sometime soon.
You got it, Dave. Thank you.
That is Kevin Kane on what has turned out to be one heck of a economic impact week with the playoffs here now and Elvis, and I got a feeling they will be coexisting for a while. Our title sponsor, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where you never pay more than sticker price. I want to also tell you a little bit about their service department. I did some shopping for some tires. Best prices I found was at Homer Skelton Hyundai. It's all about taking care of their customers. This is why there is so much client retention. They do a lot of repeat business because they give you the best deal. Some dealerships now, with the laws of supply and demand, not many new cars still coming in. Well, they'll charge you $7,000 over sticker price and say you're getting a deal. You'll never pay more than sticker price on a new Hyundai or Genesis at Homer Skelton Hyundai. And this portion of our show is brought to you by Memphis Public Golf. You just heard Kevin talking about the new Audubon. It's closing October 31st. When it reopens, and that may be a year, it'll be a totally new golf course with lakes. And they're investing in golf. This was R&D yesterday. I went to play 9 holes after the Ryan Silverfield press conference at Fox Meadows. I had to check out the new greens. Oh, those are incredible. And they hold your shots a little bit better than the Bermuda hybrids, the TIFF Eagles, when they're put in, sometimes used to take like a year for them to hold. These are holding better right off the bat. They're only going to get better. So smooth. It's the new agronomy. They invested in Fox Meadows. They invested in Overton Park. And next spring, maybe, I know it'll be by next spring, the new Pine Hill will open. Wow, City Golf. It's come a long, long way. We will talk some football. We'll talk a little college football and some NFL predictions from Russell Copeland that comes your way in a minute.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Regions Bank presents Brett Young. Live at the Garden, Saturday, August 20th at Radiance Amphitheater with special guest Levi. Lawn and pit tickets on sale now at www.ticketmaster.com. For more information, go to radianceamp.com. Also presented by Regions Bank, Duncan Williams Asset Management, AutoZone, True Green, Gossett Motor, The Lily Company, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
This time of year, all most Memphians can think of is how hot it is outside. Just the idea of going out in this heat is exhausting. What you need, what we all need, is a perfect, cool place to chill out. That place is Bell Tavern, Memphis's downtown neighborhood bar. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's easy to get there, and inside Bell Tavern is the exact amount of cool air, ice-cold beer, icy, delicious signature cocktails, and the ideal amount of light. Plenty light enough to see, just that little bit dark enough to make you think of all those suckers out there not in Bell Tavern.
I've got Jeff Allen on the phone over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey, what you got cooking over there, Jeff?
Randy, it's time to get in a new ride from Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. I can put you in a 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive SUV 27 combined MPG for that summer vacation for just $245 a month. 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. And if you don't see what you want, no problem. We will order exactly what you want. You choose your own bells and whistles.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, Jeff. Service with a smile. And your Kias are always equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
That's a 2023 Kia Seltos LX $245 a month at Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P 737-1345, MSRP 24610. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 9/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Here's an interesting new note just announced. The NBA will have no games on Election Day. They are pushing hard. I'll bet you'll see a bunch of PSAs about going to vote instead of having a basketball game. I believe that's November the 5th. No games on Election Day. NBA's doing their part that way. We talk some baseball. We will have Russell Copeland. I had one of those senior moments. It's Tim Doolin who comes your way. Momentarily, he's brought to you in part by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. 2 generations now of Ken Garlands. And they have one thing in common. They're both great builders. Father and son. Both see little detail, big picture, all at the same time. And Ken Jr., really an interesting guy to chat with. He knows the commitment you're making if you are building that dream home. Maybe you're looking for some land. He's got it. Maybe you've got land. You're not sure how to utilize it. He knows. Go to KenGarland.com. You'll see what he and his dad have done over these last 60 years. Then call 751-1632. Maybe you'll love your house, but you want modern amenities. I can tell you he knows all about those. It's called renovation with innovation. That's what I say anyway. He'll bring you the media room with the speakers and the walls. He'll bring you the island in the kitchen and the granite cabinets and everything else, the California closets. Everybody loves those amenities. You don't have them in older homes, he'll put them in there. All you got to do is make the call. 751-1632, Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Tim Doolin, always on the road, it seems, in Kansas City for the Kansas City All-American game. I want to talk with you about that in a minute, but would you believe the last time 2 guys faced each other in a Major League Baseball game with ERAs that were under 2, like the White Sox and Astros tonight, Justin Verlander and Dylan Cease, was the Mets and the Cardinals in 1985? What a showdown tonight in Chicago.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I think the game's got to get back to more starting pitchers going, longer than 4 or 5 innings. I know back in the day it was every time the pitchers I played with, and I was fortunate enough to play with Mike Mussina, Kurt Schilling, Pete Harnish, Jose Mesa. Their mentality was they're going the entire game. And I think we need to get back to that. And I think the trend is turning a little bit more toward that in a good way. So
what makes you say that? Because it seems to me if you go 4 to 5, they're going to bring in that rotation of relief specialists.
That's the era that we're in with all the analytics and the sabermetrics and all that. But I will say that there are more pitchers now that I feel like are the throwback guys that have durability and their physique and everything else lends to say we need to start extending them past 100 pitches. So anyway,
really, so that you think that's what's they're going back a little bit more and allowing you to throw.
I don't know that every team. I don't know that every team is. I think that there are some teams that they're going to. Here's what needs to happen: is if the next World Series champion is doing some of those things, and you're going to see other owners follow suit. You're going to see the analytics change to some extent. I don't think you're going to get analytics out of it because the guys in the front office that are behind it, they're never going to be they're never going to be wrong. You can create an algorithm and a sample study to still negate anything that you want, or to approve of anything you want to approve. But I do think that there's going to be a trend. You're going to see next year with the shift being eliminated, you're going to see more of batting averages be more relevant than just home runs. I think you're going to see strikeouts start to be reduced. And I will tell you, you look at the best two teams that are going to be in the World Series. Let's just take the Dodgers. The Dodgers do every aspect of the game really well. They have contact hitters. They have guys that can steal bases. They play really sound defense, and yet they do have guys that can hit the ball over the fence. And the pitching staff takes care of itself. But you're not winning World Series with 6 guys in your lineup that have 200 plus strikeouts. It's not going to happen because you're going to face. Obviously, if you get deep in the playoffs and get to the World Series, you're facing another team that has really good starting pitching.
Just to make your point about maybe they're changing and allowing the starters to go longer, Justin Verlander, who may be the best pitcher in the American League, he's averaging 6 2/3 innings per start this year.
There you go. Throwback. And this guy's either had 1 or 2 Tommy Johns. So.
Yeah, right. Incredible. All right. You and I have talked about curses in the past, Boston and Chicago. Do you believe in the curse of Dairy Queen? There were 4 players selected by Dairy Queen to market their ice cream sandwiches this year. You ready? Bryce Harper.
They're all in a slump.
Bryce Harper, broken thumb, out since June 26th. Tim Anderson, to the White Sox, broken finger, out 6 weeks. Cody Bellinger hitting .210 with a .668 OPS. Fernando Tatis suspended 80 games. So let's start.
Well, here's what happened. Here's the truth. Well, the first 2 guys hurt their fingers with dipping the spoon into the ice cream. It was a little too hard. So that's what happened with those guys. Tatis thought he was eating some ice cream, and he accidentally took something that had PED in it.
Yeah, right.
So it is what it is.
All right, what do you think about the Tatis thing? His dad came out and said now his rep is spoiled forever. He's upset about it. He claims it was just he took the supplements.
I don't know.
Didn't know what was in them.
We represent him, so I can't speak out of turn. All I can tell you is it's common knowledge that in today's baseball culture, with all the history of what has happened with PEDs, I mean, you were told not only by your agent, not only by your management team, your trainer, your doctor, everybody, do not put anything in your mouth until you get it approved by Major League Baseball. And maybe it was just a situation where he didn't think and he took it. I don't know. The bottom line is, baseball is not going to put up with it, and I don't think there's a gray area as far as they're concerned.
Man, I have no idea. I really don't. It seems to me here's a young guy who had already made one mistake.
I don't think he was taking PEDs to get bigger, faster, stronger. The guy's a specimen. He's got guaranteed money, so it's not like he has to hurry up to get back on the field for a salary drive to get a new contract. So,
no, but here's my point on this. Okay, he's already made one mistake this year with the motorcycle accident, which has cost him the first half of the year. He's about to come back. One of the things about PEDs, it's not necessarily just to get bigger, stronger, faster. It's also to recover quicker and get better quicker from injury. And I'm just saying he might be thinking, well, I really want to get back with my team that's already screwed up once. So, maybe this gets me there faster. I don't know. I really don't.
Maybe. I'm not, or, again, that's what happens when you're dealing with a really, really young player. No excuses made. I mean, he has to own it, and he is owning it. I think he's remorseful, but look, it's costing the guy $15 million.
Crazy, yeah.
How about that?
That's a lot of money. That is for sure.
That's real.
You are in Kansas City for the All-American game. I'm so confused. ESPN is doing
Well,
I know we always see the Little League, and I love the Little League World Series. And, heck, that story about that kid who got hit and then went and consoled the pitcher. That was Texas versus Oklahoma. I mean, that was a beautiful story, a great moment that was captured on television. Loved it. But I can't tell you, I cannot follow all these games. I mean, who are all these kids? Are you guys on ESPN?
No, we're not. I think Perfect Game, the events that we play in the national championships, they're moving toward getting some of those games televised. I think a lot of the ESPNs and Fox Sports, they're looking for content. I'm at the Under Armour All-American game, which is somewhat equivalent to the McDonald's All-American game for basketball.
Yeah.
It's at Kauffman Stadium today, hoping that the rain breaks up because it is raining now, but it's 45 of the top players in the country from all over. All but 3 are rising seniors, are seniors this year. A couple of underclassmen that are really, really good. But to your point, Little League is a sanctioning body where there's multiple different age groups that play under that umbrella. When we're watching Williamsport, it's a 12 and under event. And then you've got, various levels. They've got girls softball on through Little League, which I think is great. You got different age groups of the Little League sanctioning body that are participating and playing. I think they'll even, back in the day, American Legion was really big in Memphis and in the Southeast. It's still somewhat relevant in the Northeast. They'll televise that World Series championship game. To your point, I think they're looking for more and more content, and oftentimes the baseball is good. I wouldn't say it's great. Just for the viewers, for the listeners to understand, Little League has a radius. So the only way you can be on one of these specific Little League teams is you have to live within, I think, like an 8-mile radius of each other. So the team that's participating, they're all part of a community. Now, over the years, I mean, crazier things have happened, but they'll get 9, 10, and 11-year-old kids, on a select team, and they get them all to move into a certain district so they can try to qualify for the Little League World Series. So that makes the competition a little bit better when we watch it. But so that's kind of how that works.
Well, I would say this. I'm not complaining that ESPN's putting these things on. I just don't like – I don't know if I don't watch enough of it to really quite understand, or they don't explain it well enough. But we're not getting a sense of what each of these broadcasts is all about, what they're ultimately playing for, or who the heck they are. I'd like a little bit more of that. But I think it's great that the game with its youth is getting exposed because it'll get more youth to play the game, and that's what baseball ultimately needs. Last thing has nothing to do with youth. It has to do with a grandpa, or so it seems. Albert Pujols. Wow. He's like the last 2 months, he's hitting in the 330s on average. He's also now hit 688 and 89. That 689th home run was 443 feet. So he's still got immense power. It's amazing. Will he get 700? Can he get the 11?
Well, you know what? I would never put this past him. Is if he finishes the season strong and the Cardinals make a decent run, I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back for another year. I'm just telling you, the guy loves the game. I think he loves the game. And if he does that, then you got to think. Now, would he leave the Cardinals and go to play for another team? I don't think so. I think it would have to be the Cardinals say, "Hey, let's do this one more year. You were very productive, not only on the field, not only in your production offensively, but the fact that this guy's in the clubhouse and really helping a young manager learn his ways. I think it would be paramount for him to come back if he wants to, and if he finishes the season strong. I think that's a distinct possibility.
Well, if he keeps playing like this, I'd say the Cardinals shouldn't take him out of the lineup. I mean, he's too important.
Well, Heck no, you don't take him out of the lineup. That's what that goes back to, like what we started early in the segment about the analytics. I think we've probably discussed it before. Is if I've got an Albert Pujols, I don't care who he is. If I've got an Albert Pujols we call it, he's in a tree. He's in a tree, and he don't want to come out of that tree, and he don't care how he got there, but he's in it. So everything he's seen looks like a beach ball. Well, if they were playing the Brewers tonight, and the starting pitcher owns Albert Pujols, and the analytics say we can't play Albert, he doesn't hit this guy good. I'm playing Albert Pujols tonight. He's 10 for his last 13. I don't care who he's facing. That's when you got to go with the gut of a manager, and you keep the guy in the lineup.
No doubt. No doubt. And he looks comfortable at the plate now. There's no way I'd keep him off the field. Now they got a game and a half lead on the Brewers. And, the Brewer, I don't understand their deal with Hader. That was crazy to me.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Cardinals have to feel pretty. I just want Albert to get to 700. That's all I know.
That'd be great.
Timmy, thank you. Good luck, by the way, in Kansas City with your guys, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds good, Wolo. Thanks.
That's Tim Doolin, our man on baseball. He's brought to you in part by the Eflin Insurance Team. You know Matt Eflin, what a good guy, and what a group of professionals he has working with him. And they do insurance sort of a different way, a collaborative way. They get together with you, get to know you, what your needs are, what your pocketbook looks like, and then they figure out the right way and the right thing to protect you with. Whether that is a home program, auto insurance, life insurance, he'll get to know you, your family, what's important, what your budget is, and then he finds the right protection. With commercial insurance, same sort of thing, especially if you've got a small to mid-sized business, they're really specialists there. They'll forecast out what you think your business is going to do, what the assets really are, what you need protected, what your budget is, and voila, you are taken care of. All you got to do is make the call, 901-386-4777. If you spell that out, it's GUR, because they're big Tiger supporters. 901-386-4777. Do insurance the collaborative way. Do it with the Matt Eflin Insurance Team. We take a break. When we come back, we will chat with our friend Russell Copeland on the NFL. We'll go over a little bit what Ryan Silverfield had to say yesterday, too, at his press conference. This is Wolo and Friends.
You have opinions?
Yes.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, 360-8255.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hilltop Wine and Spirits, 7034 Highway 64 in Oakland, has the best prices on hundreds of your favorite brands of wine, beer, and spirits. Not sure how things taste? That's why there's a tasting room. Enjoy taste testing wine, spirits, beers, craft beers, even after dinner drinks. You have all kinds of special occasions coming up, and Hilltop Wine and Spirits can help you make those occasions memorable. You got a corporate event, a reception, an anniversary, or just a birthday with friends. Find the best selection and prices at Hilltop Wine and Spirits, 7034 Highway 64 in Oakland.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We are heading into week 2 of the NFL exhibition games. Deshaun Watson's in the news again. Yesterday, I want to start with this, with Russell, who will be a part of the Tiger Radio broadcast team again this year. We're so excited about, again, having him with us. But Ryan Silverfield yesterday basically talked about depth, maybe more depth than he's had running back. He talked about Asa Martin. This is Asa's last year. I hope he has a great year. Drake Clark looks like he's in the best shape I've seen him in. Yesterday, Sutton Smith, a true freshman, had apparently a very good scrimmage, so Ryan Silverfield talked about him. Don't forget the transfer from Northern Illinois, who was so good. I mean, you're talking about depth there. Said the same thing for the position at wide receivers, which Russell Copeland knows a lot about. Defense, he talks about some new faces and eased my apprehension a little bit, not totally, on the defensive line, but the kid that transferred from Memphis, he went to Ohio State, Cremonte Hamilton, looks pretty good. Defensive backfield, he talked about, I think it's David Ross and Joe Norwood were two guys he was talking about. Not, Greg Rubin's terrific. I like the linebacker room. There's a lot I like. So let me ask a guy who will be talking a lot about this, and that is Russell Copeland. How do you feel about what you might have seen from camp or scrimmages or what you've heard? Good morning.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you.
Hey, Russell, we're going to put you on hold for 1 second and see if we can't get a little better connection with you, because you are breaking up in a bad way. And again, we'll talk a little bit about that, but I also have to ask him once again about Deshaun Watson. And it seems like Deshaun Watson never gets out of the news, and I'm to the point where I'm not sure what Deshaun Watson can do. There was language in Judge Robinson, the very first person that, put out the penalty, that it was 6 games and he was going to lose his money for those 6 games. And, of course, Commissioner Roger Goodell wants a full season. And now there's another person that is weighing in on all of this. And in the language that Judge Robinson used, she wrote that there was no remorse seen at all from Watson in any of his previous testimony or interviews. And that bothered her. Now, she said she was limited by precedent. That's why it was only 6 games. But in the language, it talked about remorse. And then, right before he's going to play for the first time in over a year, he apologizes. And no matter what he does, I don't think he can win in all this. But it does seem to me that apology was incredibly self-serving, all because that was the language from the first judge. I don't know if he's sincere or not, but I know he put it out there way too late for a lot of people's thinking. Russell Copeland, I think we got you now. Hopefully you're in a better position. Give me your sense, and I won't talk about Deshaun Watson with you for a while, but you've been a guy that is questionable about all the way this whole thing worked out anyway. What's your sense of what Watson said right before he went out and did not play all that well he hadn't played in a year, though, but did not play that well in that first game?
Well, Dave, I'm going to start with, it really doesn't matter how it was received or perceived by me. I think first and foremost is how was it received and perceived by the alleged victims, for one. How do they take it, for two. The Cleveland Browns organization, his teammates, the city of Cleveland, how is his peers perceiving it, and the National Football League as a whole, the commissioner, his staff, and all of those involved. I think that there's going to be a group of people in public opinion that no matter what happens with Deshaun Watson, they're really not going to forgive him. And as you mentioned, you said it came too late, but you have to be able to play it out. He couldn't make an apology. when he was going through the criminal investigation. He can't say anything there. He's not going to face any criminal charges because the two judges in Texas said there was not enough evidence. So from a public opinion standpoint, it's going to be mixed. And there's going to be a lot of individuals that feel like that he should probably do jail time, that he probably should never play in the National Football League. He definitely should not be starting. But when you look at it from his standpoint, what more can he do? I think he's paid close to $24 million, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little more or less to the alleged victims. He's going to be suspended at some point in time. How many games? Will it be a year? Will it be 6 games? Will it be 8 games? He's going to have to pay back money to the commissioner. He's going to be fined. So there's not a lot that he can be able to do. I think at the end of the day, some would never forgive Deshaun Watson, and he's probably going to be tainted. It's kind of like when you look at Kobe Bryant. Will he be able to get over some things like Kobe Bryant? And we're talking about 24 alleged victims and talking about one with Kobe Bryant, but you still heard it, even in the demise, even in the death of Kobe Bryant, you still heard that being brought up. You look at Michael Vick, David. Some feel like that he should never be associated with the National Football League. He came back. There were a lot of people that said that he should not play. So, that's my take on it. It's not about me, but I think it's about the alleged victims. It's about his peers. It's about the Cleveland Browns organization and that city.
All right. I started this thing off when we couldn't get with you on Ryan Silverfield, some of the things he said yesterday, and he pointed out, and I'm 100% with him on this. I mentioned Sutton Smith. Here's a guy who's a true freshman. But if you look back, and he pointed this out in the press conference yesterday, if you look back the last 2 years, that's back-to-back best recruiting classes that the school's ever had. So there are rising freshmen or rising sophomores, and now and then throw in this Sutton Smith guy. Oh, my goodness. This is a ball club that is being built the right way, young and coming on with a nice mix of some transfers and some guys who've been around for a while. I think he's doing it the right way for the long run, and he's talking about depth, no question, about the running back room and the wide receiver room at this point.
Definitely. I think that's going to be the strength of this football. Of course, you have to start with offensive line. Will they be able to protect success? But I think there's a running back position. I think there's a lot of depth at the wide receiver position. We yet to see if someone would be a Calvin Austin, but I think they'll be able to spread the football. And I think someone will emerge. I think the question for me is going to be linebacker and defensive line, how they play together, what that continuity is going to be. The defensive line is going to be the biggest question. I think the backfield is going to be good. But I think those are some things that we'll see, once the first game starts. And in particular, when you look at the Mississippi State Bulldogs, we know they're going to throw the football. We know they're a physical ball club on both sides of the ball. I think that's what we'll be able to see, what that defensive line and linebacker position, because they'll definitely be tested in that first game.
All right, you've been making predictions. We've had 3 of the 4 AFC divisions that you have already explained to us and made your prognostications with. Give me the AFC South with the Texans, the Colts, the Titans, and the Jags.
Finishing, I think the Colts, I think Ryan has done a good job. I think they have to finish strong. I think also 2 games. The playoffs. I think they made a significant upgrade in getting Matt from the Atlanta Falcons, moving on from Carson Wentz. I think he has one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's behind Derrick Henry, who happens to play in this same division. I like Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell. I think he can stretch it. I think a good acquisition for them is going to be a rookie, Alex Pierce from the University of Cincinnati. At tight end, Mo Alley Cox is going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be a safety blanket. And defensively, they're solid. They're solid on the defensive line. When you look at DeForest Buckner, linebacker, they've got one of the best in Darius Leonard. And I think Stephon Gilmore is going to be healthy. I think that's a big acquisition for them in that defensive backfield. Great offensive line. Matt Ryan will be protected. I think they'll be number 1. And the reason why I put them over the Tennessee Titans is because when you look at the Titans last year, they finished the number 1 overall seed in the AFC division, period. Conference. I think the quarterback position, Ryan Tannehill has to play better. This offense is complicated on King. And when he went down last year, I think he missed, 9 games with that foot injury. He wasn't really healthy going into the playoffs. When you look at Ryan Tannehill, they've lost 3 of their last playoff games. 2 of those have been at home. You look at his statistically overall, he's 14 interceptions, a little bit under 4.
I think we've lost him. Well, he'll be back on Thursday, so we'll get the rest of that. And it's a 2-team race, in my estimation. We know the Titans, we know the Colts. I don't think you, when you look at the Jags and when you look at the Texans, that there's going to be much competition from those 2 at the top. Jags may be a little bit better. The Texans, I don't know about. I think it could be a long year for them. But we'll get more with Russell. That will come your way on Thursday. This final portion of our show brought to you by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and you know what they're famous for because I talk about it all the time, and that is the tune-up. The tune-up's critical. The tune-up keeps your system lasting longer because it keeps your system efficient. And an efficient system means your house in the summertime is cool without costing you an arm and a leg on your MLGW bill. It keeps the costs down. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want their system to last longer? And you know what they do? They come in, they do this 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up inside. They check for Freon, make sure there's no leak. Then they go outside, they get the years of dirt, grime, and leaves out of your system. Now, they always add things to this tune-up. They're going to put a little Teflon coating on your blades outside so it protects it from the hot summer, that sun that bakes on it. And again, it'll last longer. And you get all that for $69. Please call 384-3511. You'll thank me later. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. That'll do it for our Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway